So Proctafile sent this to me, and this is from Blaire White. If you don't know who Blaire White is, she is a man, a trans woman. But if you take any look at her, let's just say she's done all the plastic surgery, all the work to look like a woman. In this case, I just call her a she. All right? I'm sorry, but if you're going to put all the effort and money into actually at least decently looking like a woman, like, I got to appreciate the effort. You win, okay? She's also pretty based. But we got a new word. Malgender. Malgendering occurs when a person uses a trans person's correct gender, right? So remember, this kind of has layers. The correct gender with malicious intent. This often involves using gender stereotypes as weapons against a person. For example, telling a trans man, "You're a man now, stop crying." Or telling a trans woman, "If you want to be a woman, you need to start acting like one." Isn't that kind of the point? I thought you said you felt like a woman or a man, therefore you had tendencies towards certain behaviors that made you act like one, therefore you wanted to look like one. Now, of course, I'm simplifying that a little bit, but guess what? Then that means you can't tell biological men that to man up. Wouldn't you be malgendering still? Whether it was a biological or a trans person, wouldn't you be malgendering? So every time you say cis, can I accuse you of malgendering because I don't like that word, even though in your little stupid world it's correct? I don't know. I'm feeling a double standard here, motherfuckers. And the thing is, it gets even... my stream's stuttering a bit. Let me take a look here. Hold on. Oh, yeah, I am stuttering a bit. Give me a second. Nothing I can do here. I can get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. Okay, that should help out a little bit. Okay. I forgot where I was. Okay. So essentially what I'm saying is, aren't we all malgendering no matter what? Is it illegal now to say, "Man, I feel like a woman"? Like where's the line here? And the thing is, it gets even more confusing, ladies and gentlemen.
So, okay, this is what I've gathered from...
And of course, okay, this girl, she seems nice.
So, okay,
I'm not trying to throw her under the bus or anything. So here's what someone asks. Genuine question. If when we're talking about someone and we don't know their gender, see, they're trying to be nice. They don't know that they're falling for evil. In the sense we haven't met them, seen them, or whatever, we refer to as them, well, as such. Why is it transphobic to do call? I think that's what that says. Now, the thing is, like, this girl, she is just trying to be nice. But look at all the mental gymnastics this person has to do in order to make a trans person happy. It is like she fumbles, but she fumbles her way there.
Gathered from my last video. If you don't know someone's pronouns and you look at them and you can't necessarily be like, "Oh, I think you're a she, her, I think you're a they, them," or you don't want to...
It's kind of like messing with the language, with the biology, confuses a lot of things and inputs unnecessary social interactions that just confuse the social interactions in general. And what's worse is that the person's feelings who you are trying to appease to can change the rules at any moment. Therefore, you can never win.
you, then you can get away with they. But if they tell you, like, hey, I want to be called strictly he, him, and then strictly she, her, it's sort of they, them switches kind of from being a gender neutral, referring to anyone pronoun, and it sort of turns into misgendering because it's not in one of their preferred pronouns, right?
So they get to change it whenever they want, and you're the bad guy for not knowing. Unless you ask, they tell you, and if they change it again, then they're just confusing the format even more. Your niceness is not being kind. Being kind is just stick to your guns, stick with reality. See, here's my rule, my personal rule. As long as you accept reality, I'll call you a he, she, whatever. Like, yeah, I know I'm not a blankety blank blank. I understand that. Like, I seriously have a medical, like, condition where, it just irks me. If you call me by something else, that's more than fine. I know what I am. Don't worry about it. Cool. You know what? Earn a little bit of respect. But if you're the kind of person that's going to have a complete meltdown if you're not called a certain thing, I'm just going to raise two fingers and say, go fuck off. Because then this is about labeling, not about your feelings.
If I see someone and I don't know their pronouns, I'm just going to refer to them as they. But if they end up saying, like, hey.
Okay, but then, even though they does have its own kind of term outside of transgendering, and if you try to cut it in the middle, what if they have a problem with they?
I go by she, her, or whatever, and then I continue calling them they intentionally and never use she, her for them, or never use he, him for them, then...
See, that is why they chose they, them. Because they can also consider... Because, like, hey, have you seen Sarah? Oh, yeah, they're in the bathroom right now. You weren't necessarily saying that there's more than one Sarah. That's just a colloquial term. That's what they did. So, because we all know the thing that anyone who says non-binary should be called an it. It's. We know this. It's completely obvious. You know it. I know it. They even know it. They just don't want to admit it. But look at this nice girl just trying to be nice, trying to appease these people who have a mental illness or they've just been ideologically captured.
It counts as misgender. Or I saw two different terms. There was malgendering and degendering. I don't know which one is the one, but I think they both kind of mean the same thing. But it's all just a lot of people.
Yeah, a whole lot of bullshit that's completely unnecessary because they can't, get over the fact that they are mad at their dad.
People who are like kind of transphobic will use like you calling people they as an excuse not to actually call them the gender that they...
Okay, so you say they on purpose, even though it's a colloquial term, it's also something that cuts through the middle. So no matter what, you're going to be labeled as transphobic. So then why even fucking try? You're putting in so many rules that everyone has to learn. They're just going to give up, not going to try because guess what? Because you've called everybody transphobic, no one fucking cares. Fine, transphobic. You guys are all assholes. You guys don't know what a woman is. How come I'm not going to hang out with somebody who can't agree on a literal fact? And slowly but surely, people are getting tired of it. They're tired of being nice. It's going to go. Is it going to start going away? Yeah. Is it going to completely go? No. It'll still be around, but it will suffocate slowly but surely until there are very few and the ideology will just fade, fade, fade. Almost to the point that we forget about it, but not to the point that we prevent it.
So yeah, it's if you don't know, then you can say they, but if someone...
See, she's trying to figure it out in real time. She barely even understands.
Tells you and you keep using they and you refuse to use their actual he, him, or she, her, then it gets to weird territory.
So that means no matter what, you lose. That means this person can push you around and change identities at any time. These people are just gaslighters. That's all they are.
Gathered. So, okay, this is what I've gathered from my...
And then I found this. I haven't watched all the way through. But you think this girl did some mental gymnastics?
Malgendering is not a real thing.
So I don't know if this individual just has a deep voice or whatever. But what they're saying is this malgendering idea is not a thing. And then you could see Mr. Reaction right here in the upper left-hand corner looking all smug and proud of themselves and obviously part of their community of mental illness. And they're going to respond. I've only seen like 15 seconds of this, but I knew I was going to have a good time.
It's just not.
This reminds me of when people say that fat phobia isn't a thing because it's...
Okay, right now you're talking about fat phobia as in, are you talking about the fear? A fear of fat people? Or are you talking about the sense of, hey, you know, it'd be better for you in society to, you know, not be fat, lose some weight. It would help you and society and everyone around you out a little bit with lower medical costs. But unfortunately, you're too much of a selfish fat fuck in order to not do that. So, because that's not fat phobic. But we'll see what your definition is here in a second.
so much easier to not take accountable for a bad thing you did if that bad thing doesn't exist to begin with. But let's go ahead and see the explanation.
The only reason that it has become a word is because trans men like to put trans women in this rhetorical double bind.
Trans men want to put trans women in a double bind. Okay, I don't know whose side I'm on here. Okay, I'm actually confused what they're talking about.
Where they have this pure, unfettered access to womanhood that we can supposedly never access, and yet simultaneously retain the right to accuse us of misgendering them.
I don't think I completely understand the amount of gymnastics like these people have to do is a little impressive.
I have no idea what any of that was about, because that is 100% not what malgendering is. You cannot malgender someone and misgender someone at the same time.
Oh, so that means they're putting more special victim status to their group. I have a feeling that's where they're going to go here. Because remember what I said earlier? You know, malgendering by using the gender that they chose against them. Apparently, they're going to say that it's different because you're not cis, right? I have a feeling this is the direction that it's going.
So, malgendering is when you actually affirm someone's gender, but only do it in a way that is using their gender to insult them. And
okay. See, that was the point I was making. Now, let me guess. They're going to segregate. They're going to segregate it so it doesn't apply to biological people. I bet you anything that's what they're going to do.
the thing is, when trans men talk about malgendering, it is normally in response to cis women.
Okay. So when trans men talk about malgendering, it's cis women's fault. But but the thing is, you're still not answering the question. But if anyone else does it, are they malgendering, or are you just going to? Or is it just when it comes to biological people? Like, you're just choosing rules that are against the thing that you're not. You are not consistent. That's why people don't want to be around you. That's why people are going to vote against you. Because if you do not have a consistent ideology and an ideology that people cannot follow in a logical manner, then they're just not going to hang out with you and they're going to vote against you. That's why this whole movement is losing.
Is essentially when we talk about things like abortion access or being catcalled or things that have actually affected us and our...
What the... Huh?
our lives, and we are accused of mansplaining.
Oh, so trans men can't mansplain. They can't be so trans men can't be accused of mansplaining? So then are you just admitting that they aren't real men? And then that phrase trans women are real women does not apply either? See, the thing is, if you're going to be making new rules, we have to go back to what you said, what your little group has said. Because now you're saying that the rules are different, but that you're the real gender of the one that you're pretending to be, but then the same rules don't apply, and they only apply to the people that you're not, even though you're trying to say that you're the real version of the biological one, which you're not. Do you see how it gets confusing? And do you see how it makes no fucking goddamn sense? That you're just trying to make fetch a thing. Fetch is never gonna be a thing.
When people say things like, oh, typical man.
Yeah, and what do abortions have to do with anything, right? Yeah, that's a really good point, Benjamin.
Until you're a man, or things like abortion access or being catcalled.
Yeah, guess what? Because if you don't have the biological parts, then you can't get an abortion, no matter how much you pretend to be a woman. I'm sorry. Oh, they point out a biological reality? And it's a slur? I'm sorry, but you guys have seen on Twitter, you guys have seen on X, you guys have seen on all sorts of social media platforms. Hell, you've probably seen it in legal documents. You see, you don't understand. Stacy is a cis white woman, and Erica is a trans black woman. Then we're just back to oppression and race Olympics all over again. Going back to race, going back to gender. They want to promote equality, but all of a sudden, when there's some sort of minority that we're trying to be equal to, have tried to be equal to for the last, 100 years or so, with so much project being made, nope, we have to reverse back to giving step-ups to people, and their little equity that doesn't work, makes products worse and makes service worse. But I digress. But hey, you want your special little space? Build your own town, because honestly, that would fix a lot of problems.
Or things that have actually affected us and our lives.
How does not being able to get pregnant affect you? You never have been able to get pregnant. Definitely, ever, because you were not biologically made that way. You're the one who decided that you were going to be some sort of weird, non-chest feeder that can't, I'm sorry, but reality is not a slur. Reality is not a slur. And I'd say go see a psychologist, but I have a feeling a psychologist is the one who got you this way.
And we are accused of mansplaining. When people say things like, oh, typical man, can tell you're a man, or clearly you didn't choose your gender because no one would want to be a man, it is insulting us for our gender presentation.
Your gender presentation. Well, one could actually say that it's a gender appropriation. So if you can gender appropriate, then that means that I can culturally appropriate one. What? I'm just using your own logic against you. So this malgendering doesn't make sense, because that means I can blame a biological person using their actual real sex against them, but I can't do that to trans people. See, all you're doing is self-victimizing yourself, creating extra padding so then you can call everyone else the bad guy. That is all you're doing. That is all you're doing. You're just making up rules for you to feel better about yourself and to make Whitey look bad. That's honestly what you're doing. Shut the fuck up. Honestly, I wish there was not a place of you in society, and if I could choose just like that for you to get actual help, I would. But the thing is, I also believe in individual rights and your reason to be there, but I will tell you right now that you have no logical consistency in your entire life. You should go into asylum and actually get your actual mental health check, because whoever convinced you that you are anything, whatever this is that you're trying to be, they were wrong. And you weren't able to fight back. How about you fight for yourself and just admit the reality in which that you are, because it'll help you, it'll help your brain, it'll help society, and then we can all move on with our lives and hopefully look back on this woke timeline and go, remember that happened? Let's not let that happen again. And then everyone lives happily ever after. But I know that you won't do that because you're too ideologically brainwashed in order to actually see reality. hence this little exchange right here that we're having on the internet. So I hope that you have a nice day. And oh my God, this video isn't fucking even close to done. Fuck me.
Which is transphobic while simultaneously affirming our gender. Also,
it's transphobic while affirming a gender. Well, yes. Oh my God. You want to know what people do to each other, the actual biological gender? We do the same exact thing. We don't get fucking offended by it. You want equality, but then you say you want special rights. That's what you want. You just want special rights. You want little special privileges. The thing is, you're getting all the fucking special privileges. Stop it. Stop asking for more shit. You've got enough. Stop inventing more ways. Stop and think. The thing is, 10, 15 years ago, I think most people would have been a bit like, you know what? Kind of makes sense. I mean, come on. We had drag queens. This was obviously the next, kind of thing that we were going to do. Didn't really seem to be affecting the world all that much. But then 2020, well, I'd say 2017, but definitely 2020, all of you decided to, lose your fucking goddamn minds because you weren't allowed to see grandma at the hospital or any of your other friends or go outside without worrying about, catching a fake disease. But hey, you instead of catching a fake disease, you ended up inheriting a mental one. And then we're here. And I'm only, what? How long am I in here? Like 30 seconds into this fucking video, and I have made more better points. I can't even grammar. I have made more logical points than you ever will in your entire lifetime. Grow a brain.
So this thing about unfettered access to womanhood is quite disturbing.
Because you don't have that. It is the reality. You're not even trying. Why do you think people like Blaire White? Hell, there's people on the left that I will definitely call women because you know what? They actually put in the fucking effort. You are not that. You have a fucking beard. You understand what reality is. You want people to meld to your reality. But that's still not general reality as we know it today. A lizard is still a lizard. A cat is still a cat. And you are... I don't even know, because I don't think you do either. Let's see, you call yourself a cup of joey, so I will assume that you're a trans man. But the thing is, I don't really have the option to ask at this point. Even look here. You're using your mental illness over here to the right. Applied Nutrition, sponsor me? What, you're using your identity to make money? Well, Jesus Christ. Man, all this little privilege. You get sponsored for, having a mental illness? Who would have thought? 2026 is very interesting, to say the least.
Actually, because when we talk about malgendering, that is absolutely not the phrasing that trans men use. You see,
no one really fucking cares. I have freedom of speech, motherfucker. We don't give a shit. I will insult you to your face and not give a fuck. I don't care about your feelings. It doesn't relieve the stress of the facts against the ideology that you have. So shut the fuck up. If you don't want to talk, then walk away. I'll walk away too. But if you try to indoctrinate any of my friends or my parents, or if I eventually have kids or kids around me, or you try to get into some sort of protest fight with some Muslim on the street or a Christian, I don't really give a shit. If you're trying to obscure reality, fuck off. This is America, bitch. I'll say what I want.
Seem to be taking the wording that TERFs use and then pretending that it's us that's saying it. That is absolutely not the case. That is
wait, what'd they say?
Seem to be
I was coughing.
Taking the wording that TERFs use and then pretending.
Oh, TERFs. You mean people that believe in reality. Oh, unlike you. No, the thing is, what you're doing, like I said before, you're trying to make special rights for yourself. You're trying to put, more privileges. Except it's like, oh no, you're putting a double, if not triple standard onto the situation, making it even more confusing for everybody. You're actually hurting your own cause. But if you didn't have your head so far up, what I assume, pussy? So up your smelly pussy, you'd actually be able to, smell the roses.
That it's us that's saying it. That is absolutely not the case.
They're trying to N-word this. They're trying to N-word this. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to N-word this situation.
Yes, I grew up experiencing misogyny as a child. I grew up with the expectation of growing up and being a bride and a wife and a mother. But that...
You mean it's misogynistic to have traditional gender roles and to usually expect that, and then being kind of okay if, you know, you go an alternative way. But I'm guessing that your parents didn't expect you to, you know, become a dude, because that's a new thing that only happened in the last like 10, 20 years. No one was really expecting you to, you know, lose your mind and, you know, go through, what is it, a social calamity of inheritance that I'm guessing that you learned in high school or college and TikTok, unfortunately. So hopefully one day we'll, you know, bring you back in, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Oh, just a little bit of a reality check. When you die, from hopefully, you know, ripe old age, and natural causes, biologists will still identify you not as trans, but as a woman. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that too much of reality for you? Was I malgendering? I don't give a fuck. America, bitch.
That doesn't change that I'm still a man. And those are not the case. Yes, I grew up experiencing misogyny as a child. I grew up with the expectation of growing up and being a bride and a wife and a mother. But that doesn't change that I'm still a man.
No, you're not. You are a trans man. That is different. You are not a real man. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Blow me. I don't care.
And those experiences don't mean that I have a closer relationship to womanhood than trans women do, because that is not what womanhood is. That's what misogyny is.
How is that misogyny? Biological women have very similar experiences that are different than trans women's. Oh my God. Kind of weird how that works. And it can go both ways, but you don't want to see reality. You're refusing reality. You want this utopia that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. You had a good run. Everyone's sick of it. We gave it a shot, but too many kids' genitals got, you know, taken off. So we're reversing our decision here. We tried it your way. We ain't going back. This malgender bullshit isn't gonna fly. Too bad. So sad. You're never gonna be a dude. And I feel horribly sorry for your parents.
Essentially, you know how trans women can talk about the oppression, like particularly the trans misogyny that they receive.
You mean how all trans people talk about oppression all the time on the internet, especially on TikTok, and they won't shut up about it and accept a reality that they're not going to be the real version of whatever they're trying to transition to? Yeah, no, it's on both of you. And I love when you guys are trying to go after each other. It's fucking hilarious.
And it have absolutely nothing to do with trans men.
You are just arguing the same point back at them. You are just, but your point doesn't make sense. Malgendering, essentially, according to this logic, occurs when a person uses a trans person's correct gender with malice intent. So essentially, when someone says something a little off-putting to kind of make fun of you. If someone is a welder, just a welder. Am I insulting that person? Yeah, it's how you phrase it, dumbass. You can do that with literally anything. You're just upset that it can be used in multiple different circumstances. You do not want equality. You don't. Just a little fucking pussy, just like you were at the very beginning of your life, asshole.
Same thing. We can talk about our experiences without it having anything to do with you. Besides...
But we could talk about experiences. No, apparently you can't. This video is proof that you can't.
Malgendering doesn't just happen to trans men. You know when a trans woman...
Apparently, according to the definition, it happens to everybody. Everybody.
...a lot more sexual harassment after presenting female, and then...
Everyone gets sexually harassed. You want to know what kind of the main common thing is? Men, biological men, including trans women, usually don't mind. Kind of weird how that works, right? Man, kind of be nice to get a little attention. Weird how that comes from all the people with the penises. It's like the biological circumstances kind of inform everybody of what's going to go down and then predicts behavior. Who would have thought? Who would have thought, chat? Who would have thought? Things that we knew for thousands, if not millions of years.
The comments say, welcome to womanhood. That's malgendering.
Even when it's said positively, it's malgendering, whatever. You can't win with these people. You say it enthusiastically, malgendering. You say it, or malgendering, or putting down, or not saying it the right way. Like, these people just want to control your speech, control your minds, and that's why they're losing and no one wants to hang out with them. I'm sorry, but you're losers. You're an absolute loser. You could have just, had a sex change and fucked off. Had a pleasant, interactions with people. But no, that wasn't good enough for you. And it will never be good enough for you. Even if everything that you wanted happened right now, it would not be good enough for you. Fuckwad.
Well, but let's have a look at the rest of the video, because I'll be yapping too much.
You're confused? Can we move on? Okay. I guess we can move on. I've kind of tortured this guy enough. Or girl. I don't know anymore. Either way, a pussy. So, let's see here. Okay. Well, we'll end on a happy note.
Hey, thank you for watching this clip from my live stream. Please comment below, like, and subscribe. And be sure to subscribe to my main channel, where I do all these live streams, and have my independent videos where I do deep dives. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you are somebody, I am nobody, and I hope you have a fantastic day.